Hi, I'm Deanie and welcome to week 12, and this is the final week of the Get Started Writing course. We're going to be looking at writing for children, and if you want to write for children there are some really key points you need to bear in mind, and one of them is that fiction for children is defined by age-specific categories, because what interests an 8-year-old could seem really childish and boring to a 12-year-old, or a 4-year-old might not be able to understand it. There are various definitions depending on whether you're looking at the American or English markets or elsewhere, but very roughly, you've got early readers for ages 5 to 7, which are books for children who are just beginning to read independently. They're very short and they tend to be illustrated. You've got first chapter books, which are for ages 6 to 9, and these books are about 10,000 words maximum, and they usually have about 10 chapters, small chapters with some illustration as well. Middle grade books, these are children who are starting to work towards totally independent reading, and about ages 9 to 12, chapter stories with between 30 to 60,000 words, so a little bit smaller than a standard novel. And then you've got young teen, which is ages 12 to 15. Word counts are pretty similar to a smallish novel, so you're really working towards almost an adult size book, but with a younger theme in mind. Younger children generally prefer stories with safe, happy endings, whereas older children can cope with a little more uncertainty or danger on the way to the ending. Before you write a story for children, think about the stories that you loved at the age that you want to write for. And also look at what's available for that age now, because things have changed quite a lot. It is particularly important to understand the children's book market, because at this age, it's not just the children whose taste you're catering for, but also the parents and grandparents who are buying the books for them and often reading them to them or with them as well. So Google the age category and read some of those books to get a good understanding of current themes and which stories have endured the course of time and why. Also, you need to remember, don't talk or write down to children. Keep plots simple, but don't dumb them down. Just make sure you explain things more fully for the younger child. Also, use complex words. Don't hide from using more complicated words, but use them in a context where the child can work out the meaning. And don't forget that often there's a parent around that they can ask what the word means. We need to expose children to lots of complex words to help them to grow their language. Know that children and adults often find different things funny. Don't overcomplicate scene setups. So going into a scene, make sure things are fairly straightforward so they can understand what's going on without having to explain lots of backstory first. And then the characters for your children need to jump off the page and grab their attention fairly swiftly. So there isn't a lot of time for convoluted explanations of how they got there or why they're like they are. Remember that, like with all books, but even more so with children, you're fighting against social media, which is always there, ready to snatch the book away from them. So, thinking about writing for children, here's an exercise for you. What I'd like you to do, if you can, is to read the story of Madeline by Ludwig Bemelmans, which was first published in 1939, and The Gruffalo by Julia Donaldson, which was published in 1999. Both those books are widely available. They're two of the most loved rhyming books of recent and past times. They differ from each other in both topic and style. So what is it that makes them so popular? Well, as a parent myself, and I've read both of those books to all of my children many times, I can tell you that they're both pleasing to read aloud and easy to memorise for your child. So you find yourself, when you're reading books like that as a parent, that you know the book inside out, and your child will also start to read along with you because they know the words too, which just helps. It's a really nice moment to have with your children. Personally, I feel that rhyming books have a soothing effect on both the parent and the child at bedtime. So what I'd like you to do is to write a story in rhyme for the 0 to 5 age group, so the children that are still having stories read to them in bed that aren't really reading independently yet. Make sure the rhymes are smooth and the lines flow. That's really important. Read it aloud, and wherever you stumble over any of the words, make adjustments to smooth it out. Imagine it like a rug that you're walking along. If there's any bumps that make you stumble, you need to smooth those out so it's completely trip-free. Parents don't enjoy reading awkward rhymes, and you do have to please the parent just as much as the child at this age. So another exercise, but this time for a slightly older age group, thinking about first chapter books. This is an area with lots of possibilities because at this stage children love consistency and more of the same, which means that there's great opportunity to write a chapter book series rather than just one book. If you take a look on Amazon at the Rainbow Magic books, there's a link to it in the blog post that goes along with this video. There are over 200 of these books in the series. They are incredibly popular with the 7 to 9-year-old age group, and they feature 2 girls who turn into fairies. They have formulaic plots involving goblins doing bad things and then various different fairies fixing the problem. There are lots of other series of books for this age as well. You probably had a favourite one when you were a child. What I recommend you do is to go onto Amazon and have a look at all the different series that are available. What sort of characters do they feature? Where are they set? What sort of things happen to them? Get a really good understanding of what that age group really buys into. And then what I'd like you to do is to try plotting out your own idea for a children's series. Use the 5-finger pitch that we did at the beginning of this course to help you work out the protagonist, what their goal is, the obstacles, the setting, etc. So just plotting it out if you feel inspired to actually write one of these books, that would be absolutely amazing. And anything you've written, do put into the blog post at the end of this, in the comments, sorry, of the blog. So that's the end of week 12, and in fact that's the end of the Get Started course. So if you've come all the way through this with me, that's fantastic, well done. I'm going to be posting more video courses, and if you've got any suggestions of topics you'd like, I'm going to be doing some poetry courses, some more writing for children. I'm going to be doing some on writing spooky stories as well. So if there's anything else you'd like a course on, let me know in the comments below. I'd really like to hear. I've also got the second part of this course available as a book presently on Amazon. I'll be eventually turning it into a course too, and there'll be lots more coming. So follow my blog, subscribe to my video so you can see what else is coming, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.